Yay, another video. Honestly, I would make 2-hour videos every day and just blah, 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 because I love talking to you and I love, I love doing this. I love sharing knowledge and wisdom very much. So I'm gonna try to work on keeping my things short and sweet, because I understand that we're kind of like in this ADD society and people are finding it hard to find time to watch a 30-minute video. I'll do my best to do 20-minute videos, and I'll do my really best to try to make 10-minute videos. That said, this one might be 20. I want to talk about something super important in terms of learning how to develop your energetic discernment. And the subject I want to talk about specifically about that and give a bit of a living example around it is, how can you tell if what is in you is yours, or if it's something you have absorbed from the outer environment and are reacting to? Let me explain myself. We carry a bunch of beliefs in us. Some of them we came up with all on our own. Things that we decided as a child, for example, oh, when I do that, that happens, therefore I must be ... We came up with that belief, we put that in place, and it became part of our survival system. It became part of like these programs that kind of run the show from the back, from the from the background, and they kind of like come up and we see life through them. So you've got beliefs that are yours, that you came up all on your own, that you constructed literally all on your own. But then there's other kinds of beliefs that you carry in you that are not yours. They came from your family, they came from your parents, they came from your culture, from your society. They come from you, they expanded you in other lives, and they are unresolved things that you're carrying around and are affected the way you see things now. So when we do energy healing, the aim is so important. You could spend 10 years trying to get rid of this belief that you carry around you, thinking that it's yours, and you're aiming at, I want to get rid of this belief that I carry. I want to get rid of this thing that I believe about life. And meanwhile, you're not aiming at the right thing. What you need to aim at in a situation where the belief is not yours is your reaction to that belief. And most of us have no one has explained this to us or given us tools of how to discern between these, because they are different. How you are reacting to something is not the same as you carrying that as the truth. So as someone that I really enjoy studying many systems, I spent 11 years in university. I went all the way into a PhD in sociology. I very much, I'm very passionate about understanding different systems and different ways of viewing the world, of understanding reality, of how we come to have an understanding and a belief system around something that we carry around like it's the truth. And even more interestingly, which were my PhD studies, was how do we transition from one belief system to another? How does a worldview change from one to another? As an energy healer, that's very much what I do too. It's just now I'm not studying it at a social level. I'm studying it at the internal universe level, because we are as vast as the universe within each of us. It's kind of trippy when you start looking at that stuff. And with shamans, I went pretty far into, wow, really understanding how vast each of us really are. So one system that I studied that I don't fully agree with everything about that system, I don't fundamentally vibe with the person that established that system, but in no way does that mean that I'm not able to retrieve from that theory, let's say, that download, elements that I want to share with you now is a way that this, I'm not going to say the name of the person because I want to talk about the knowledge and not the person attached to that knowledge. So this woman goes about explaining how we hold beliefs in different places. She's mostly referring it all to the area around here. But we have these childhood programmings that we put in place as a child. It could be as stupid as, not stupid, but it can be as limited as I'm a bad girl, let's say. The childhood beliefs that we made up all on our own, they tend to be held in the energy field around the front of our brain, like around our neocortex. And the way I explain that, the way I'm able to make sense of that is that all these beliefs that become these governing programs of how we view life are all stored within the reptilian brain and the limbic brain. And the way information gets processed in you is that an information comes your way and it goes through your survival brain, it goes through your limbic brain, which ensures your emotional and relational place in the tribe, and then your cortex, and then through your neocortex, which is this part. So childhood beliefs are held energetically in this part of your mind. Then if you go into the center of your brain, there's a pineal gland, and around that pineal gland, there's like a morphogenetic field, okay? So things that we carry from our genetic line, very specifically from our direct family, from our direct bloodline that we incarnated on. And parentheses, we choose these lines in order to help heal the beliefs on these lines. The problem arrives when we become identified with these beliefs and we are reacting to these beliefs and we are no longer able to understand that we came to heal these things. So family stuff we hold in, it's like cells within the pineal gland. Then all the energy around the pineal glands, the morphogenetic field, that's where all the epigenetic stuff is held. And epigenetics is very interesting because epigenetics is understanding how we carry ancestral beliefs as well. So these ancestral beliefs aren't directly, like you can't pinpoint them directly to the family line you're incarnated upon right now, that kind of genetic line of like, you know, my granddad and his dad and his granddad. So epigenetics is about ancestral stuff. And we're talking like we're spanning hundreds and hundreds of years. For example, most women, you know, we have in our epigenetics a lot of held beliefs about our role in society, whether or not it's okay to take care of us, to take care of ourselves. Because for a long time, to take, as women, if we were like, you know, I'm taking a day off, you know, people would starve. Like people wouldn't get food, the kids wouldn't get taken care of. So there's different places. And then finally, the last place I want to talk about is this space behind you, which is where a lot of the past life things are held that you came to work on in this life. Okay, so 4 different spots for 4 different levels of beliefs. When you're doing healing work on yourself and you're trying to like work on releasing a belief that you have about, let's say, you know, there's not enough to go around, you know. Okay, so of course that belief kind of like permeates all of the collective unconscious that we're in, like a lot of it anyways. But then it becomes about aiming at the right place. Where is that belief in you? And I'm not saying that it's only at one place. You know, you might have it from your family line. It might also be part of the morphogenetic field. It might also be related to a past life where, for example, let's say, I don't know, you were, you know, like in a context where everything was taken away from your entire culture, you know, and there wasn't enough to go around, and you guys and your whole culture, and you were starving, you know, so that belief would be held there. And, you know, so we've got past life stuff, we've got ancestral stuff, we've got genetic stuff, right? And then we've got childhood stuff. That's a lot of stuff. So I want to give you an example of what that would look like when you are trying to assess properly, is this belief mine? And I want to do another little parenthesis right now. Okay, this energy of, well, that's not mine. That's not mine. Well, that doesn't work. That doesn't work because your reaction to that is 100% yours. So let's say, for example, let me take an example of my life. Yeah, okay, I have one coming up. People want to take advantage of me. I've carried that along a long time. It took a while for me to realize that it wasn't just mine. You know, if, for example, you do muscle testing, you can kind of assess and ask questions like that. Is this my belief? You know, and if it's like, if the answer is no, then is this belief from my family line? Is this an ancestral belief? Is this unresolved karma from another life? You might get yes to all of them. I can tell you right now, the example I'm using is, it pervades all. It comes from other lives. It comes from my childhood and having been sexually abused and seeking attention from men. Like my father left when I was very young, so I was like seeking a daddy replacement, and I found replacements that ended up taking advantage of me and of my innocence and of how much I wanted to feel loved by them. So if I use the process that we do in the mentorship program, where we kind of go into the body to find where that belief is, okay? So right now, if I think about men want to take advantage of me, people want to take advantage of me, okay, I feel it like right in my midline, right there. It's like a block right there. So I go in there. There's a lot of ways you can play with this. You could ask, if it was a color, what would it be? I very much like working with, if this was an animal, what would it be doing right now? The reason I ask that question is because the energy is letting me know that my defense system is flared up and wants to protect me. And by asking what behavior the animal is having, it allows me to get an idea of what's going on. Is it kind of like a fight reaction, a flight reaction, a freeze reaction, or a fawn reaction? Fawn is kind of a new one they discovered, which is basically when you freeze, but it absolutely doesn't show on the outside and you continue to function normally. Yeah, and mine's a fawn reaction right now. So what I see as I'm looking at that is, I see kind of like a Bambi-ish animal, whatever you call these in English. I'm French, sorry. And it's completely freaked out, but it's kind of walking around like everything's normal. And all the tension is there. So I'm just going to go there. And what I'm intuitively receiving that I want to do is I just want to put my hands on it. And it's like this area of its body is shaking internally. And just by being there, I'm not trying to get rid of it. I'm not trying to change it. I'm just choosing to be there with this reaction in my body. And I'm letting you know I'm right here and you're safe. I scan the environment that that animal is in. And I can tell that there's like kind of like eyes peering through the forest. It's kind of like she's aware that there's predators there, but she's not sure, are they good, are they bad, are they this, are they that, do they want to hurt me, or are they just walking around? So what I'm going to do is I'm coming right into my heart and I beam that energy out. And I'm kind of just beaming it into that area that she's finding scary, that makes her weary. And I'm creating this huge clearing. And I'm doing it in real time. And I'm creating this beautiful dome of light all around that clearing. Now, I want to help this part of me release this energy. And this is where the whole goal of this video is about. I want to help this part of me release this energy. In order to do that, I need to aim properly at where this energy is coming from. So if I ask internally, is this energy mine? Where is this energy coming from? It's very interesting because I'm seeing my grandmother's face. And this can get really fun because I'm seeing my grandmother's face, but I'm also seeing her asking me, give that back to me. You don't need to carry that, that's mine. And the child in me that loves my grandmother, doesn't want to give that back to her and hurt her. So then all of a sudden I can start sensing that there's stuff on the ancestral line about that too. There are moments in the ancestral line where for a woman to clearly tell others what was wrong and what they had done wrong led to other people being hurt. For example, the men would get angry and they would take it out on the children. Don't you know your place, kind of thing. So right now I can feel all this going on. So I just want, I'm just trying to help you see. This is not just this little belief that I'm carrying about, oh, I wanted love from my uncle and I went to see him and he did something to me that made me feel really uncomfortable. And then that made me decide that men are bad and they just want to take advantage of me. That is a little part of it. That little part of it is almost gone just by me being there and saying, it's okay to let that go now. I'm right here with you and I'm not going to let anyone take advantage of you. Now, but my grandmother standing there like this. I'm going to take her hand. I'm going to say, let's release this together. Oof, the heart expands. Let's release this together. This is not about dumping it on anyone else. This is not about me dumping it on her or her having dumped it on me. It's not like that. We incarnate on this planet in order to help heal all these beliefs, all these limited ways of seeing, and especially now as we're getting ready to go into a higher frequency. Well, we're already going into a higher frequency. That's why it's easier to actually tap into that stuff. That's why we're hearing it more in us. Not because it's trying to like attack us. It's because it's ready to be released, and it needs our loving presence. It needs us to be willing to say, let me hold your hand and let's do this together. And we're just releasing it together. It's like, I release this. I release what no longer serves me. It's not going anywhere. It is dissipating. It is dissolving from us being in a loving energy towards it. This is having a huge impact here. Like, and you just stay with it and allow it to dissolve. You allow it to dissolve. It's dissolving just by you being present. Often we don't even need to do anything else than that. Just be present. If you feel that it's not enough, you can use colors. Golden orange is an incredible color to melt away emotional memories. So you can, for example, put the golden orange energy here, wherever you're feeling it in your body. I can also imagine that there's golden energy all around the figure of my grandmother as I'm sensing her beside me. She's smiling now, so it's kind of like we're pretty much almost done. And now about the ancestral line. The ancestral stuff is a little bit more interesting to work with. The way I tend to work with it is kind of like, you have this, it's like a line of all the lives you've had on this earth. And it's kind of like cloudy stuff on that line. Like there's all your different incarnations and stuff like that. We're not actually working on a past life. We're working on the morphogenetic field around that line. And we just offer it our loving presence. We offer it our complete presence and let it know it's okay. That was hard to go through. I'm here to help you release it now. These are ancestors. They're not even in a physical form anymore. These beliefs are floating around. They're not like incarnated in a body, so it's even easier to release them. Sometimes the ancestors are a little bit, it's like they're almost scared in the sense that it's like we survived by holding on to this belief. So you're just letting them know that time has passed now. And you just lovingly hold presence within that field. And it's very interesting because you might even be able to feel around your pineal gland. You might even be able to feel in these areas I spoke of at the beginning where the work is being done. So right now I'm just holding that space of completely being present. Our presence is so strong. It is so strong to lovingly hold something until it dissolves. Think of how you'd hold a little baby crying and just be present and hold it until the emotion had passed through it and it was able to just relax. It's kind of the same thing. You know, the more you're stressing out and trying to figure out what to do to make it cry, stop crying, the more it's going to cry. Don't do that. Just be. Just be. Be a heart frequency. So vast. So loving that everything melts. And you're liberating. You're freeing these memories. It's like you're disentangling the emotional trauma from a memory. I don't want to say physical because their ancestors are not really alive, but you're dissipating emotional memories. And all that's left is the remembering at a spirit level these experiences. Because a lot of wisdom can be gained through them. We're not seeking to destroy memories. We're just seeking to dissolve the emotional memory, the trauma, basically. So if you want to work with a color, once again, golden orange, you can do crystal white. In terms of past lives, that gets a little bit more. Sometimes you need to go and work on the actual content of a past life. Because past lives are whatever you're carrying in your energy field now from a past life is something that's unresolved. The way to integrate it is not to like dissolve it and just like try to get rid of it. It is to resolve the issue. So I have a really good example of this related to this theme I'm talking about right now. I have a lot of past lives in which I was kind of like savior complex, you know, would give everything to everyone and then would have some kind of injustice or some kind of betrayal happen. And it led to the conclusion in my, it's like little fibers in your energetic structure of, you know, you give everything to everyone else and then they shit all over you or whatever. What needs to be resolved in there really is a question of boundaries. If you give people everything they want and you don't make sure that you are respecting yourself, why would they not take advantage of you? Are they really taking advantage of you? Or are you just not having proper boundaries? And then you get to a place where you feel like everyone just takes and takes and takes, but meanwhile, you're just walking around and you give and give and give. So why would they not do that? So a lot of these issues that we carry from past lives have incredibly powerful teachings for us. Great wisdom to be gained by understanding what really happened. Like I have a couple of lives that are coming up right now where, because I've been working on this kind of stuff for a while. So I now see the nexus, like the connections of many different lives in which the same issue is being worked on. Because believe it or not, you know, you might have incarnated like 2,000 times on this planet. But the themes you're working on are not, there's not that many. There's not that many. There's not that many. Mine tend to gravitate around either I'm absorbing everything from everyone and then I'm like a victim and I get killed and whatever and taken advantage of, or I completely disconnect and I do whatever the fuck I want and then I'm like some kind of bully or whatever. So, and it's actually a very recurring theme in the fabric of humanity, victim, bully, kind of. I talked about it in another video. So in terms of that, you know, as I resolve these issues, As I learn to have better boundaries in my present life, as I tap into why do I feel guilty when I, tell someone, say no to someone, and I start kind of like feeling into where that's coming from. Sometimes I get these hits from other lives. And then it's not a question of like, oh, I'm going to dissolve you. Ooh, no, it's about, oh, okay. How do I resolve that now? Because whatever's not resolved from another life, you don't go back in another life on your timeline and resolve it there. You resolve it now. It is in your life now because it needs to be resolved now. Just like the reactions you're having to beliefs that you hold are here to help you see what you're holding. It's all serving your evolution and your awakening process. Please remember that. Please, please stop acting like a victim of what's happening to you. It is not happening to you. It is happening through you, as one of my mentors would say. It is happening through you. It is happening through you so that you can help heal that in humanity. That was probably more than 20 minutes. I just can't do it. I hope that this had some value for you. And a mini little recap, just remember, some of the beliefs you're working on are 100% yours. You made them up. You came up with them as a child to make sense of your environment, to survive what you were going through, to like set up how you need to act so that mommy and daddy don't reject you or think you're a bad little girl or whatever. Then you have other beliefs that are literally stemming directly from the genetic line you incarnated upon. That can be pretty easy to tell if you start observing, your mother and your father and your grandparents and your sisters and your brothers, and you kind of like notice what are the common themes, what are the common behaviors that we're all having. That kind of gives you a little clue that it's potentially genetic and you are having a reaction to it. You start by working on the reaction you're having to it, and then you can actually start aiming at, is this on my family line? Is this genetic? And if so, then you can actually aim at that. And then there's also ancestral stuff. Some stuff like that is very interesting, like fear of running out of food. A lot of fear of running out of food is ancestral, from famines and stuff like that. So, if you go and look at your fridge and it's full and you're afraid of running out of food, not sure that that's completely your belief, as opposed to you reacting to an ancestral belief that's like ding, 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 ding. Like, so once again, aiming at that properly. And finally, is it a past life issue that is not yet resolved? And if it's that, your job is to kind of like reassess your behaviors and see how can I work on resolving that in my present life. And you resolving things in your present life resolves it in these lives, not the opposite. I'm Julie Claire. Happy to see you. I hope you're doing well. I have to go because somebody just walked in the house. Let me know what you think about this video. Please like, subscribe to my channel. We have an awesome mentorship program that's underway. Please feel free to go to joyfulsoulexpansion.com and find out if you're a good fit for this program. I hope you enjoyed this video.